Bang, 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 bang. Come on, dagger, 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 come on, kill him, no! My tail! Come on, kill him, come on. Don't put the fire out. Come on. Come on. Oh, you bastard. Coming up. Come here, J to him. Bang, bang, bang. Ooh, that was clean. Oof. Sexy. Ah! Zero. Come here. Dagger, 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 dagger. Critical hit. I'm on fire! This is where my firefighting expertise can be put to skill. Still on fire. Engine's dead. Let's return to base. Quick! Still on fire. Just a bit of an update. I don't know how my plane hasn't fallen to pieces. We're almost at the forward air base here. Hopefully we can land? Don't know. Gear. Let's get this bastard down on the ground. Hang on. There's something behind me. Is that a dot behind me? Hello, A6M5. Alright. Dagger, 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 dagger. We got him! No, no, correct! You Arapelic! Bang! Oh, I've exploded. G'day, I'm Ash, welcome you all back to War Thunder. This is the SU-8. It's the Battle Pass reward vehicle that I spent 25,000 Golden Eagles on. Specifically so I could get the trade-on coupon for the M64, the Taiwanese-Chinese light tank. But this thing I needed to collect because I like collecting all the aircraft. Was it worth it? No, entirely not, but it's something that it will be worth to you if you like close air support sort of vehicles, and you like stuff that is heavy hitting. I have a feeling for ground forces this thing will be absolute meme, but we're not doing that today, we're going on air realistic battles. Precisely because this thing has 4 45mm cannons. At rank 4 battle rating 4.7, historically they only made 2 of these aircraft, and it's a ground attack aircraft produced by the Soviet Union. First flight was 11th of March 1944. And for this aircraft, it really was possibly the most armoured thing I've ever seen. Let's go over to the armour view right here and just look at the amount of armament options here. Essentially, it's heavily armoured and was an aluminium mid-fuselage, a wooden monocoque tail, the wings were of steel, aluminium construction with plywood outer sections, twin rudders were all of all-metal construction, in addition, the cockpit, the engines, the fuel tanks, oil coolers were fully armoured. And this thing is just... it's a strange machine. But by the time this aircraft actually came out in serial production, they've finished all the tweaking with the aircraft. Well, unfortunately, it was a bit too late. They'd already reached the borders of Berlin. Anyhow, 2 double wing spars, a gunner position which controls 2 guns, a top gun and a lower. There is 3 fuel tanks on this thing, but they each have their own armoured housing. As you can see, everything is just sort of centrally mounted. So again, if you're aiming at this thing and you want to just sort of aim centrally down the middle, that's generally where the best place is to take out absolutely everything. In terms of modifications, you get access to universal traces and stealth for the machine guns, the 7.62s. For the offensive 45s, you do get defaults, air targets, which are 4mm penetration, and armoured targets, which can do up to 63, so 60mm, which is quite useful. And then the turrets are armoured targets and universal. Other than that, you get RO-82 rockets, and you also can get access to RO-132s. There are 100kg bombs, 250kg bombs, and the fabled 500. In total, there is 21 setups, without load, with bombs, with rockets, without rockets, with bombs and rockets, and various types of other modifications. Essentially, you have a very versatile machine, but don't expect this thing to defend itself particularly well because it already is heavy without the bombs and rockets. Taking a look briefly at the stat card, it is a premium vehicle. You do get 30 free repairs, and the research reward rate is quite good. 337% for research points, and a good old 270% for Silver Line. We'll get into flight characteristics during the match, but 550 kilometers is your maximum at about 9,000 meters. So if that tells you the kind of sluggish performance it gets, then yeah. SU-8 is sitting just on the right, underneath the BE-6, above the LA-11, to the right of the Russian Spitfire and the Tu-1, which is objectively a better aircraft at a higher battle rating. This thing at 4.7 is quite interesting because there's plenty of other aircraft that Russia has, the IL-10s, the Su-6, AM-47, and Yer-2s that'd be certainly a lot better than this machine. Anyhow, let's go into some gameplay and I'll talk about the flight characteristics and some of the other things about this vehicle. Right, Welcome to the second ever match that I played of this machine. Cheeky XP50 comes out of nowhere as I'm climbing off to the side. Try and bait him towards this mosquito, and this is the most common damage you get. Tail cut loose. Probably because the elevators and the rudders are really small, the airframe itself doesn't perform very well in a combat situation. Second match. Completely, utterly tunnel vision on this P-38. I'm about to get set on fire, and the interesting thing is, you know, go for a leading shot, should have led just a little bit more, and then this thing just locks up on the rudder and aileron there, right there. Set on by the enemy aircraft, and I go for a bit of a spray and pray, hopefully trying to shoot this P-38, but instead of managing to kill the P-38, instead I kill a howitzer that's directly in front of him. Yeah, I'm not going to survive much. Anyhow, listening to Drifty stream while recording videos is not ideal. Get absolutely done over by this A7M. Again, seems to be a similar Japanese thing, but again, tail cut loose, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Onto an actual game. Now, I've climbed off the side of the map. I've been useless to my team for at least the last 3 to 5 minutes. Essentially, as soon as I spawn, because this thing does get an attacker spawn, you go and fly off the edge of the map. That's perfectly fine. It's P-47, a couple of P-51s out there, and now that we can actually focus on proper gameplay, I can tell you that this thing is very... I don't know. Its cooling system is air-cooled. The takeoff weight's about 13 tons. Max altitude about 9,000 meters. Good luck ever getting up to that altitude. It's got 2 M71 engines in it, so powerful engines, but not exactly the fastest engines out there. It's a Typhoon, a Brigand, and a Spitfire out there. I've got to position myself in a correct way. That Brigand looks like he wants a piece of my action, so Spitfire is not paying any attention. Typhoon is just completely ignoring me. I suppose we'll just actually turn towards this Typhoon, because you are slightly catching him. Oh, hang on. Brigand wants a bit of fun here, and we're going to roll back over, and we're going to see if we can actually get him. Daka Daka, Daka Daka Daka, absolutely nail his pilot. In fact, we've got that from another point of view, so let's watch that. So, here I am, rolling over to try and attack the Brigand. Absolutely nail him via one splash right there. Thanks Smiggle Time for sending that one in. Absolutely nail the Corsair on the way up. It's fascinating to watch it from the other perspective, as a Typhoon is now doing loop-de-loops. Now, if the Typhoon was smart, he'd actually turn him towards me. He had so many aircraft on him, I don't think that was really of his concern. Again, this thing can be fun in correct situations, but it is a head-on machine only. And if you're very aggressive, or you're a particularly, you know, head-on, screwed-on kind of person, then you might be able to actually use this vehicle to its effective purpose. Me, on the other hand, I haven't played War Thunder in 2.5 weeks. Picking up this machine yesterday really just sort of showcased that, yeah, maybe it's probably best to stay away from this game after long periods of time. Obviously, skill doesn't necessarily attribute to that, it's just that I've forgotten how to play because I've been playing so much Minecraft. Anyhow, Typhoon does try to do a pass, we actually do bait him in, and there are now 3 remaining aircraft left to delve with. So I don't know if you can tell, but this thing's an absolute bus. The wings rip at 720 kilometers an hour, the gear rips at 390, combat flaps is about 437, takeoff is 380, and landing is 310. Optimal velocities is minus 360 speed for ailerons, you know, 360 kilometers an hour for rudder, and 380 for elevators, which, again, this thing takes damage like a sponge, but once you lose that aerial efficiency, at least, you know, airflow over the wings, you do tend to get a bit carried away with this machine, as it tends to list to the right, which we've got damage. Coming down on this P-51, absolutely going to nail him here. Lead the shot beautifully, and basically the last guy in the team, the Spitfire, gets shot down by the friendly as I'm trying to intercept him on the rear there. So, 3 kills, not bad, but again, the typical average for this game is getting your tail cut loose. Right, on to the next game. Other things to mention, it does get combat flaps, it gets takeoff flaps, landing, it does not get air brakes, and does not get an arrestor gear. So there is that, and with a rate of climb of about 9.3 meters a second, you really need to rely on that airspawn in order to sort of carry you. Speaking of airspawn, this is what we've got in this match. Poor Beaufighter goes in and clobbers a BF-110, but I have other sides. I'm sorry, Australian Beaufighter, but you are now mincemeat. There's a Mosquito, a Firebrand, a BF-110, and a Firefly down there. I kind of am licking my chops. Let's go head on with the Firefly. What's the worst that can happen? Exactly. A little bit of damage to my engine and the radiator and the cooling, but aside from that, I've come out unscathed. Now I've got a plentiful, choice of aircraft that I can want to go after, so I'm going to try going after the Firebrand. Now, I should have rolled over immediately to go and attack these guys instead of just playing with my food, because the rest of the friendly Air Force comes in to sort of have a bit of fun. I'd love to kill that Mosquito, and I'd love to kill this Firebrand, but look, he's going to be stupid. Watch, he's going to go head-on with this other friendly. There's a VB-10 over there. I-85 goes head-on with the Firebrand, yet to be expected. There's a Mosquito down there, so let's go play with the Mosquito. VB-210 is that French thing, or 10C, whatever it is. I love that thing. I must do a video on that one again. It's been a long time. Anyhow, Mosquito comes in, he's trying to be all sneaky and Mosquito-like. Just going to absolutely obliterate his day with a nice place shot. Alright, that is the third kill. And the last one that I'll actually get, because this VB-210 is a sneaky motherfucker. As he's getting engaged by the others, I try and pull away, and again the typical thing, the tail cut loose. Yeah, it's a fun machine, don't get me wrong, but it's a fucking pain in the ass to play. Combined with its lack of aerial control, at least in terms of flight maneuvers and stuff like that, the extreme weight of the machine as well, with the extra machine guns and obviously the cannons, the longevity of the aircraft really depends on how well you get off in the first engagement. And unfortunately, there are better aircraft that do a better job of this in the tech tree, and there is a premium vehicle which is better, the TU-1. Plus, you've got stuff like the IL-2s, you know, the IL-10 is a better vehicle. Hell, even the Su-6 is a better vehicle than this, and those two are in tech tree. But hey, if you're wanting to collect a vehicle that is good for close air support in ground realistic battles, then this machine is definitely for you.